I'm Elaine Swann, America's leading lifestyle and etiquette expert, and I welcome you to Modern Etiquette with Elaine Swann. It's the podcast where etiquette meets real life and grace is always in style. You may have seen me on shows like The Today Show, Access Hollywood, or What the Fit with Kevin Hart. And now, I am here to help you navigate life with grace and style. In each episode, we'll dive into modern dilemmas, whether it's handling travel plans with friends, splitting the bill at dinner, or choosing the perfect host gift. I'm here to answer your real-life etiquette questions. So pour a cup of tea, relax, and let's go on this journey to becoming the best version of ourselves, one polite step at a time. Hey, welcome back. Oh, no, welcome me back. I'm glad to be welcomed back. I am glad to be here today. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Thank you so much for the questions you have sent in. We've got some great ones for you today. And I, of course, am here with producer Kelly.
Hello, everyone. This is exciting.
It is. It really is. I am so thrilled. This is really going well. And I love the questions that are coming in.
Yeah.
They are questions that are very, very real. And that's what gives me joy, because it tells me that people are actually concerned about how they're showing up in the world.
Yes. And it's it's that kind of time that we're living in right now, because so much has changed from when we were younger, for example.
Oh, yeah.
And now social media and, what do we do? Are things still the same? So we are coming to our episode 5 here. I'm so excited.
Keep going. Okay. I think I'm ready for my Reddit question.
Okay. As usual, we're going to begin with a Reddit question. This one has to do with a high school graduation, as 'tis this season right now. A family member is graduating high school. We got the ceremony invite over the weekend, and enclosed was a link to an Amazon registry. This registry would be mistaken as a wedding registry. Several $1,000s worth of household items. The senior in question is moving to a different city to attend college and needs their apartment completely furnished with appliances, drapes, furniture, lamps, bedding, and cooking items. You would think they are moving into a 4-bedroom home, not a 1-bedroom apartment. I'm appalled. No one in the family is well off at all. We are yard sale clearance people.
Not yard sale clearance. Okay.
Question, Ms. Swann. Are high school graduation registries common now?
This is a really interesting question, because it is starting to creep up a little more and more now. For high school graduation, if the student is going off to college, it is a good idea to try to help prepare them. But that is the responsibility of the parents. The folks who are giving gifts are supposed to give gifts that are useful as far as that graduate is concerned. And, actually, I give a full list of gifts that you can give to a high school graduate to prepare them for college. Everything from maybe even a suitcase that's filled with toiletry items that they would use in their, in their dorm room, or things for their dorm room, little kits and things like that. So high school registry gifts, I would say, no, this is not a wedding. The responsibility is on the parents to fulfill what the student needs for college, and then folks can give whatever fits within their budget. So if you are the yard sale clearance rack person, go ahead and go with that. And if you want to get a gift, a really nice watch or something like that that this student is going to use, that's fine as well. But to go overboard and create this whole registry is a no. That's all. I hope that helps. We're back. We're back from a commercial break, and I'm ready for the first question. Bring it on, Producer Kelly.
Yeah, let's hear it. Let's roll it.
Hey, Elaine. Quick question for you. We're having a dinner party, and we have security cameras inside and outside the house, and they're there pretty much to protect our family. We have young teenage daughters that are there, and a lot of art and different things like that we need to protect. So the question is, do we tell guests that they're on camera? Is that necessary? We have one at the front door. It's a ring, doorbell ring, so that people know, one's out there. We have a lot of Amazon deliveries. But do we have to tell them that there are cameras on the inside of the house? Is that necessary to divulge that information? What are your thoughts on that?
This is a really good question.
It is a good question.
Yeah. And this is something that I address in my new book that's coming out as it pertains to technology today, because this aspect of having cameras in our home is more and more prevalent. So if you have cameras in your home, you're not required to tell people that they're there. However, there are some instances when you should. And those instances would be, let's say, for example, maybe someone is spending the night. So if you have overnight guests, you want them to know that there are cameras present in the house. If you are hosting some sort of event at your house, girls' night in, everybody's, taking their libations and enjoying themselves, and they're telling all they stuff. You might want to say, look, ladies, just to let you know, for security purposes, we do have cameras in the house. So or you can turn them off. So that's another instance where you would definitely want people. Now, there are some times where you do not have to tell people that there's a camera in the house. Let's say, for example, you have service people coming over and it's the plumber, the contractor, something like that. You don't need to tell them, because actually you probably need to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. But anyway, you don't have to tell them. Or if somebody's just coming to the front and they're just dropping something off, or maybe coming to the entryway. So Susie Q comes over to drop off your little one's backpack that they left at their house. You don't need to say, oh, just want to let you know there's cameras here. Now, if you are hosting some sort of gathering and everyone is in a common area and you just want them to feel comfortable, you want them to know that there are cameras, what you can do is put a little sign up at the front of the door just to let people know, saying, hey, welcome. We want to stay safe and we want you to be safe too, just to let you know cameras are rolling. And so that's a nice thing to do, to let people know in advance. But there's some instances where you should let people know there are cameras in your home, and other instances where you do not have to. All right? I think that's good. Great question.
It really is. Again, sort of the sign of the times, too, because, back in the day, there was baby monitors, so you never would have been like, don't go near the baby room, or, but now with the way things are.
Yeah, we have to, but they're so necessary. The thing about cameras in the home, there's so many instances where we're now seeing that they've been used in court cases. There was a woman who, this is nuts, but she poisoned her husband and the camera caught her putting something in the wine glass and then taking it in, which is dumb because they had the cameras there. But anyway, it helped to find his assailant, which was his wife.
Wow. Thank you for that, Elaine.
All right, let's go with our next question. I'd love to hear what we've got.
Let's hear it.
Hi, Elaine. So I have a question. I'm having a party and I sent out invitations maybe around a month before the party. And one of my friends emailed me back and said that they wish I would have given them enough time and advance notice to come to the party, and that I should have sent it out much earlier than that. And I felt like a month was enough time to let people know. So I'm just wondering, am I at fault for not giving people enough notice, or what's the appropriate time when you're doing an event to send it out to give people a heads up? Because I felt like a month was enough time, but my friend is making me feel like it wasn't.
Etiquette is always about putting people at ease, and the person who's telling this individual that they're doing things wrong is not practicing good manners. They're not practicing good etiquette. When it comes to invitations to parties, 1 month is plenty of time to invite people to the party. Anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks is a good amount of time to invite people. The further out you go is if the person if your guests have to travel from out of town. That's when you want to give them a little more time. So you can go all the way out to even 8 weeks if you're expecting individuals to travel from out of state. So this way it gives them a chance to book that plane ticket and so forth. But for your average party that's around the corner where people are going to get in their car or take a cab or taxi ride or Uber, what have you, to your house, 4 weeks is enough time to give to invite someone to a party. And we have to really think about that. So plan in when you're doing your inviting, figure out your guest list. And you can actually send out invitations based upon the guest list. So the folks who live a little further away, you don't have to necessarily send them the invitation. That's when you can send a save the date. So this way, 8 weeks out, 12 weeks out, you're telling them save the date, and then the actual invitation can come 4 to 6 weeks later. So I hope that this helps you, especially now as we're getting into graduation season. This is the time now to start getting those invitations out. And I want to share one thing as far as invitations are concerned. If you're sending paper invitations, make sure that any registry sort of thing is not part of the actual invitation itself. It should be something that is separate. So you want to put that in the envelope and it's separate. So the invitation is a keepsake, because oftentimes people like to hang on to those invitations. People who scrapbook, they want to put the invitation, they want to print out the photos, they want to put all old things and so forth. And it's a really great thing to do. So for your invitations, folks, please make sure that your registry or whatever it is you're going to ask for is not part of the actual invitation itself.
I actually have one follow-up question.
Oh, I love a follow-up question.
Obviously, party, graduation, but are weddings completely different? Do you have to give them more time for weddings, or is it about the same?
It's about the same. Yeah, weddings. So weddings, again, you utilize the same principle as far as it's concerned. A save the date card is so important to send out as early as possible, especially for individuals who are traveling from afar.
Sure.
So send out that save the date. This is the date of our wedding, and it's going to take place in this location, and the details will follow. So this way, the folks who are coming from afar will know, I know what city I'm going to. I know what date I'm going to be there. I may not necessarily know the address of the chapel or the church that it's taking place and so forth, but they're saving the date, and so they know. And so this is where that save the date card, you save the date, you can create a wedding website, and on the wedding website, that's where you can have recommendations for accommodations and things like that. So yeah, weddings, definitely save the date further out, and then those invitations can go out. Now with wedding invitations, those can go out a little, 8 weeks is where we're starting to look as far as the wedding invitations.
Thank you.
Yeah, 6 to 8 weeks. 6 to 8 for weddings, 4 to 6 for get down, party at my house.
Perfect. I think it's time for one of our commercial breaks.
Yes,
too.
Let's take a break. We're going to take a listen to one of our sponsors. We'll be right back. We're back for our last question of the day.
Wonderful questions so far.
Great questions. And I just, folks, please continue to keep sending in these questions, because when you think about the questions that come in, if you have a question about it, somebody else is thinking the same thing. So you're just helping the world. You're helping people along the way. So send your questions in. I'm ready for the next one.
Let's hear the next question.
What are the most important etiquette principles you are teaching to young children?
This is a good one, because at the Swann School of Protocol, our headquarters, which is located in Carlsbad, California, we offer etiquette classes for children and teens. And you can learn more about those classes by visiting our website, swanschool.com. But what we focus on is helping young people to develop and become the best version of themselves at the stage of life where they are. And so the principles that we teach, the core principles that are weaved in between everything we teach these young people, is respect, honesty, and consideration. Those are the three things, because with respect, honesty, and consideration, whether you're at school, whether you're at home, whether you're out and about with your parents, you can apply either one or all of those principles and figure out how to maneuver or determine how you should behave or how you should speak in a particular instance. So the core values that we teach are respect, honesty, and consideration to young people, and then we just continue to build on there. I think that's really important. And it can take place, like I said, whether it's at school, whether you're home, whether they're online. These are the things that we have to think about, so that young people today have the ability to make those decisions to that will help strengthen their emotional intelligence and the way they interact with other people. Thinking about how what they say and what they do impacts other people.
I think it's so important, and as you know, I've had the privilege of teaching
Yes, you
at your
have.
school. And one of the things, again, 'tis the season as we're in graduation, but the banquets, and sometimes people think, oh, young people, they don't have to really learn where to put the fork and the glass and what. Not true.
Yeah, it's not true. This is something here where it's wedding season. And so there are some instances where young people are going to be invited to weddings. And so you don't want your child to embarrass you at the wedding because they have not practiced at home. So send them to one of our Swann schools. We have over 30 independently owned and operated Swann schools throughout the country. A wonderful group of folks running these organizations. And so send them to Swann School so they can get that information. And then I encourage you to have your students practice at home so that they can just grow and learn and be part of society and not embarrass you out in them streets.
Yes, and surprisingly, they eat it up.
They do. They do. Children want to learn. They're sponges. They want to learn. And we want to create good people as far as society is concerned. I always would say to my daughter, I want you to be an asset to society, not a menace to society. An asset to society, not a menace to society.
Absolutely. Gosh, where has the time gone?
I know. It flew by so fast.
We're at the end of episode 5.
I'm excited. This is good. Well, you know what? I'm going to put my glasses on because I have not memorized this part yet. But here's the thing I want you all to know. If you have an etiquette question that you want to ask, I would love to hear from you. So please send your questions to me at questions@elaineswann.com. You can also leave a voice memo of your question and then email that to me, and then we'll play it here. And even if you heard somebody else ask, or maybe you're afraid that someone's going to recognize your voice, just get somebody else to read the question for you. We want to hear from you. All right. So make sure you're following me on social media. You can find me on every platform. Elaine Swann is my handle. And you can also visit my website, elaineswann.com, where you can get more etiquette tips and advice. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, be well and live well. Modern Etiquette with Elaine Swann is brought to you by Imagine Podcasting. It's sponsored by investor and strategic business consultant, Dr. John Sanders. Our producer is Kelly Davis. Our chief audio engineer and editor is Chris Swan. Our intern is Will Harrison. Our theme song is Up and Coming, written and composed by Chris Swan.